What is service learning? According to Learn and Serve, America's Service Learning Clearinghouse, service learning is defined as combining service objectives with learning objectives with the intent that the activities change both the recipient and the provider of the service. This is accomplished by combining service tasks with the structural opportunities that link the task to self-reflection, self-discovery, and the acquisition and comprehension of values, skills, and knowledge content. In other words, service learning is a program where a student performs tasks without pay within the community, which help the student gain life skills and an appreciation for themselves and others. Though it sounds like it, service learning is not the same as community service. Service learning is many things, from planting trees to working at homeless shelters. But you have to remember that there is a fine line between it and community service. Here are a few things to remember that do not make up service learning: an episodic volunteer program, an add-on to an existing school or college curriculum, logging a set number of community service hours in order to graduate, compensatory service assigned as a form of punishment by the courts or by school administrators, only for high school or college students, one-sided, benefiting only students or only the community. Here's an example of one type of service learning program.
Learn and Serve is a class that takes everything a student has learned since kindergarten and applies it to service in the community. And today we have completed a big project for us called Hawking Lot of Turkey. Our school's mascot is the Black Hawk, so that's where that comes from. And their goal was to raise 1,000 pounds of turkey to help the regional food bank here in Fredericksburg, Virginia. And they achieved their goal. They raised 1,100 pounds. They did all kinds of things to advertise in advance. They rented a turkey costume and walked around in the cafeteria during lunch both Wednesday and Thursday leading up to it on Friday. The turkey also was out busy this morning helping collect all these turkeys that the kids had donated. They made shirts and they wore them at school. They had announcements on the announcements at school, and this is just an amazing program because the students begin the program by actually coming to the food bank and seeing what the food bank does and how it operates, and then it culminates in being able to give back to the community with Thanksgiving dinners for many, many people.
Pros of service learning. There are many benefits to service learning in our schools. According to the Education Committee of the States, service learning can improve students' engagement in school and supports academic achievement, provide a more active and experiential form of learning, serve communities better because the students are better prepared and reflect upon their experience, train students to be better citizens, provides the ethic of service, civic attitudes, a sense of belonging, acceptance of diversity, competence and self-esteem, and protection against risky behavior. Let's take a look at a public service announcement made by the Learn and Serve America.
Across America, service learning is helping students improve their grades and their communities. Service learning makes school exciting by connecting the classroom with community service projects.
Before service learning, I was just an ordinary student causing mischief during class. After service learning started, I got so involved into it, I started paying attention more, picked up my grades.
Okay, very good.
Service learning absolutely drives academic success.
Working together, students solve real problems, build new skills, and apply their knowledge in a whole new way.
The great thing about service learning is it gives you this opportunity to go out into the world and do things hands-on.
Inside the classroom and out, service learning opens new doors and brings learning to life. Service learning can make a difference in your school. Visit Learn and Serve America at learnandserve.gov to find out how.
Cons of service learning. In the same report by the Education Committee of the states, service learning can also be seen in a negative light. Some feel the service learning benefits students rather than communities, forces students to provide cheap or free labor to nonprofit organizations, burdens teachers and school administrators with logistical challenges such as logging hours, transportation, and liability, siphons time away from other academic classroom learning such as reading or mathematics, poses a difficult evaluation challenge, and benefits only gifted or at-risk students. Nationally recognized service learning programs. Throughout the United States, some schools are receiving national recognition for their service learning programs. An example of this is the Upper Arlington School District in Ohio. Here, 6th grade teacher Loretta Heigl from Jones Middle School performs 2 major projects a year. In her first program, her students will plant trees all around the Upper Arlington area, including parts of Ohio University. She uses this to tie into her science lessons. The class will study types of trees and which are indigenous to the region and what exactly it takes for trees to grow. The class also participates in a partnership with Open Shelter, a homeless shelter for men. The students are responsible for many things with Open Shelter. They gather items that the men need, whether from their parents or from the school's resource center. They are also responsible for serving lunch to the residents, giving the students a better appreciation for what they have and what it is like to be a homeless. Memorial Middle School in Albany, Oregon is well known for their service learning program as well. Here are the sorts of things that they do with their programs.
Here at Memorial Middle School in Albany, Oregon, we have a service learning class that we've been doing for the last couple of years.
Service learning is always about the curriculum and what are we learning, what are the needs in our community. The City of Albany was interested in a partnership with us, and students began to, they planted a garden in downtown Albany. They cleaned up Periwinkle Creek of the invasives.
They were able to go in and do some water quality testing and look at microbiotics in the water, and does the water have enough oxygen to support life?
There was a culvert that had just horrendous amount of graffiti underneath it, and the kids were just astonished that people could go in there and create such a mess. So one of their projects was to go in and to paint this culvert, and these kids were just fantastic. They were energetic, and they went in there and they did a fantastic job.
One of the projects we did last year was a school-wide cleanup. So 14 7th graders organized a school-wide cleanup for 672 students and staff here at Memorial.
They found graffiti, they found children that just weren't being respectful with the removal of trash, and the students did it.
Last year we started looking at the fact that we have lots of paper in our recycling that is one-sided copy. And could we take that one-sided copy and reclaim it? Mrs. Jackson, our principal, she told the students that for every ream that they reclaimed, that she would give that money back to the service learning class, and the service learning class could then develop little mini grants that other classrooms could write mini grants to the service learning class. If you have an expectation for students, they'll usually meet it. If you set the bar a little bit high, they usually exceed it. If you give them an opportunity, they can achieve it.
Every little bit counts. Every little bit that we can do, the smallest little things that we can learn about here and now, the smallest little projects or differences that we can make all add up. And again, once you jump in and you learn to do these kinds of activities, these service learning projects, the sky's the limit. You only want to continue on doing these kinds of things, and it's really addictive.
In conclusion, the authors of this presentation conclusively agree that service learning in our schools is a positive attribute, but should not be state-regulated or mandated. Rather, each school should be responsible for their own programs, formulated to the specific needs of the community and the students within the programs.